and welcome to the 6th episode of our podcast, One Gen Talks a Lot. If you stuck around for this many episodes, we appreciate you very much, and we hope that you've enjoyed our podcast so far. So if you're new here, my name is Andrea, and I am your host for this podcast where we have conversations with various guests and explore their stories and perspectives in life. So today, we have two guests with us, and it's actually only the second time we've had more than one guest at a time in our podcast. So first of all, we have Pastor Jian, who is a youth pastor in Peace Charis Church, and he serves in the worship ministry, and I heard that he's also a basketball fan.
Yep.
So next, we also have Pastor Jian, who is the designated senior pastor of Agape Community Church, Seremban. That's quite far away. And he's also a football fan, if I'm not mistaken, Arsenal.
Yep, Arsenal all the way.
Okay, all right. So let's welcome these two pastors today.
Woo.
Woo!
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming. So how are you? How are you doing today?
A bit tired because of a long schedule, but still very thankful, for you guys to invite me here for this opportunity to share, my life and my story. So yeah.
Butterflies in the stomach.
That's normal. That's normal. I'm also really nervous, actually.
So I'm just trying to break the ice by telling you actually how we feel. So yeah, but really excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
All right. Okay. This is the first time that you're both doing something like this.
Yep.
So, okay, then the next time when you go onto a podcast, then you can say that this is not the first time anymore.
Yeah. No pressure at all.
No pressure, definitely no pressure.
Okay.
All right, so maybe you all can introduce yourselves a little bit.
Maybe you can go back.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Pastor Jian, and I basically serve in my church since I was back in 2013. I answered the call to full-time ministry, and so ever since it's been 12 years. So basically what I do right now is I oversee the connect groups in my church, and I also look over a particular ministry called the Men's Fight Club. So it's a ministry that is targeted to the boys aged between 13 to 18. Yeah.
As for me, I'm Ian. I'm a pastor kid, by the way. Grew up in a pastor's family. Currently serving Peace Charis. So both my pastors are my boss lah, senior pastor, my dad. I think I received my calling. Okay, before that, I have to say this first. I'm a bit different because since young, my ambition is to be a pastor because of my parents. I'm grateful that I'm the more happy kind of pastor kid lah. Because it's not easy to say that, but I'm just grateful that I'm one of them. So growing up, I wanted to be a pastor, but I think I received my calling because my parents told me you can't just be a pastor because you want it. You need that calling. So I think I received it during one of these pastor kids camp when I was.
So this is a pastor kids camp?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like a pastor kids camp, but because we're from Assemblies of God, so every 2 years we have a ministers retreat, and the pastor kids, they will have their children's service and the young people's service. So
I thought there was like a camp.
Yeah. But there are pastor kids camp. I know of at least one lah for now that I've joined before.
I learned something new today.
So yeah, I received my calling, I think at the age of 16 during this camp lah, this camp. Then since then, thank God lah, responded to the calling. Now in my church, actually I'm also the English church pastor since my mom stepped down. And then I'm also the youth pastor lah, helping out in this side. And of course I'm also in this Assemblies of God, Youth for Life Malaysia, the national youth national department. So I'm serving there as well. As for, I'm not a football fan, but I'm an NBF fan. Sorry, I'm wearing the wrong jersey. I'm actually a Golden State Warrior fan. But because I only have this jersey for now, so I wear this, okay? So yeah.
How come you don't have your favorite?
There's a joke actually behind this jersey. So my brother went to Japan, my bro, not my real one, my friend lah, bro went to Japan. So he asked in the group, what is your favorite basketball player? So I just wrote LBJ. So he thought that it's LeBron James. But actually, LBJ stands for three of my best friends in the church: Lee, Brian, Lee, Ben, and Jason. So then I'm not sure. I don't know that he's buying a jersey for us. So I thought that it's a joke or what. So I just say LBJ like that, you know. So
and you never thought to clarify.
No. You know, in bros, you make jokes, you don't clarify, right? Until like the time. Okay. So he came back, he just took out this jersey and gave to my friends. Like, oh, yo. Then he took it out. Oh, bro, you want LeBron James, right? I was like, oh. I'm actually a Golden State Warrior fan. I was like, okay, never mind. Since you buy for me, I'm thankful. And that's the only jersey I have, by the way.
Wow. That's a funny story.
Yeah.
So, Pastor Jian, you are a football fan.
Yep, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm also not wearing an Arsenal jersey today, simply because I don't have my Arsenal jersey with me. So I drove to my brother's place in KL this morning, grabbed a jersey, and so I'm wearing a Barcelona jersey. But deep within, if I tear off this badge, yep, I'm an Arsenal fan.
Why don't you have your Arsenal jersey with you?
Well, my Arsenal jersey is actually back home in Seremban, so I stay in Putrajaya. So yeah, that's the idea behind it.
It's kind of sad. So actually, Jeshurun told me to make a bit fun of you about not winning, but I'm not gonna go there. I'll just put that out there.
Oh, I thought you were gonna burn him.
It came from him, not from me.
Oops.
Because I don't know basketball and football, so I can't make comments. I'm actually wearing my favorite team's shirt. I'm a badminton fan. I'm wearing Malaysia.
Yeah.
Malaysia's jersey, so I'm the only one who's
Truly
really actually
Malaysia.
loyal
Good job.
to
Nice.
to my sports team. All right, so before we proceed, I just want to know, like, you two are friends. Like, how did you know each other?
Oh, Bible college?
Yeah, I think we met in Bible college. I think it was my second year that Pastor Ian came in, and so from there we kind of struck a bond, and then we kind of knew each other quite well and make fun of each other.
Yeah.
I think we skipped class before
Yeah.
together.
Sorry, our lecturers in BCM, but yeah, we did.
Yeah, so that's how we met, and somehow we just bonded
So
together.
you're met by skipping class?
No. I mean, we are full-time students, so we stay in the dorm. So we literally spend every day together.
Correct.
Oh, so you all stay in the same dorm. You're all dorm mates.
Yeah. So we are full-time students. So I still remember when I first entered into Bible college, the first night, because I was really anxious, I don't know what to do. So I went in, I didn't really smile. So he was there with our other friends. So when they first saw me, they thought that I'm very like ego, the face like, you know, the sombong face, you know. But then after that, somehow we get to know each other. I think among our friends, both of us hang out more.
Yep.
Because we like to go out. Like cafes,
so
hang
the
out.
rest of your friends don't like to go out.
I mean, they also go out, but
Yeah, I think we went out very often for supper.
Yeah,
so
supper.
That's how we really got to know
even
each other.
during like lunch or during afternoon time, where most of our friends might sleep, they lazy go out. Both of us will go out more.
Rajin,
Yeah, Rajin. He's the one who will bring me everywhere. Yeah, because he's the senior. I follow my senior.
So you all had a bit more quality time spent together as compared to...
Yeah, I think we sat in each other's car
Yeah,
a fair
quite
bit.
often.
Yeah, in the initial years. Yeah.
Yeah, because
So after graduating, you all still kept in contact? You all still go out for mama? Or how often do you all keep in touch with each other?
I think it was lesser, but then because we then served together in Youth for Life Malaysia, so I was in Youth for Life Malaysia for I think 1 term. So I think that's where we kind of work together and then we hang out and have drinks with friends and all that. When I say drinks, I meant coffee.
Yeah, we
just
don't.
to clarify.
This is very Christian.
Just in case.
So,
we are pastors.
I think that's how we continue to build a friendship.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. It's nice to see two grown men being such close friends and have both of you here together.
Hopefully we grew in terms of our character, not just the sideways.
The size.
Let me say anything
Size
about that.
wise.
All right, okay, let's move on a little bit. I just want to know a little bit more about your childhood, because you both, I think, grew up in church. You were pastor's kid, and you both started serving at a very early age in church.
Yep.
Yeah, so maybe you can tell me a little bit more about what was your childhood like? What was it like growing up in church? What were you like as a child in church? Were you a really good kid in Sunday school, or were you the naughty? I mean, since both of you mentioned that you skipped class in BCM, then it gives a little bit of an idea about what kind of kid you were, maybe, or I might be wrong.
All right.
Yep. Maybe we will have the pastor's kid to have the honor first.
Okay, so first thing first. But like I said, I'm still going back to that part where I'm really grateful, because I think my parents, they didn't really like pressure me a lot in the church. Like they don't have this like, you are pastor kid, so you need to have this kind of standard. So I kind of have quite a good childhood in the church and good memories as well. But like you say, you guess it right for me, I'm the naughty boy lah. You know, I think especially at the age of about 11 or 12 in children's church, you know, where you are old enough but not old enough, you know. So in the children's church, you know, we are I'm like the older bro there lah, you know. Actually, there's 3 of us, taiko like that. But I'm not the main taiko, but there are 3 of us, the 3 boys lah, same age. So we are the rebels lah, you know. Teacher say jump, we don't jump. Teacher say don't jump, we jump, something like that. That's how we grow up lah. But those are good memories. I still keep in contact with my bros. One of them, like I say, remember the Jersey Ben? He's one of them. So he's getting married in 3 weeks' time. So yeah lah, and also that's how I grew up. I think God is really kind to me because He gave me a lot of good friends in the church. So, but then of course, as pastors' kids, there are still certain pressure and certain things. Like you say, we serve very young, and we serve is almost everything. And we cannot skip weekends. My weekends, I'll never be able to join any of my friends' birthday parties, or I'm never allowed to skip church. You know, so that's the kind of the thing that we have to grow up with, lah. You know, and even we go vacation, my parents, like when we go Taiwan or we go anywhere, my parents will still go to church on weekends. We won't skip one, even in vacation. So that's the kind of childhood that I have, lah. But I'm really grateful, lah. There's not like my church, my parents are very good to me, lah. You know, yeah. So yeah.
Did you have like expectations? You said that your parents never really put expectations on you, right? But how about like the people around you? Because there would be people who be like, oh, you're a pastor's kid, you have to blah blah blah. Or was it not that?
I'm not sure, because I think it also I think when my parents as pastors, they don't impose that much on me, I think the people around won't do that as well. Because they saw that, pastor won't do that to the son. In fact, you know, they treated me like any other kids. But I do know, actually later on I know that actually, even as a pastor kid, I don't know about it, but I realized it later that sometimes people will give me certain special privileges. That means that, you know, if I get into trouble, sometimes they don't really dare to like point it out or rebuke me per se, because I'm a pastor kid. So, but I didn't realize that, you know. But because of that, also kind of become a troublemaker in my church, you know.
Because you get away with it, so you're taking for granted.
Yeah, and they don't really tell my parents about it. So yeah, but one thing that my parents do pressure me about is my character, They don't pressure me in anything, but they make sure that I have to have good characters. That is one thing they will make sure that I have. Like if I'm not, I'm rude to elders or what, that's where I will get it really. And of course, when it comes to sin, like lying, all the this kind of things, then my parents will let me go, So that's the thing only,
All right, okay. How about Pastor Jian?
Yeah, so I grew up in church since I was 4 years old. Not really active. I was those that was like last in, first out type of family. And then one of the things that I remember I hated the most is because you're last in, the ushers will usher you to the front and sit. And so when the worshiping comes up towards the closing, that's when I actually will, you know, say, okay, I think it's time for us to go. Yeah, so I was like this all the way up to I was 13.
There was no like Sunday school?
Yeah, I used to join as well, but maybe once or twice a month. So I'll escape, negotiate with my mom, I don't want to go and all that. And even if I go, I would actually be the one standing at the back. Yeah, so that's me. So it was only until I lost my dad when I was 12. That's when people, you know, really kind of reach out to our family as well. And then from there, I kind of got active in the youth ministry. And then ever since, just started serving, and then the rest is history. So that was a little bit of how I grew up in church. So it wasn't a place I looked forward to be at when I was young. But now it's like, yeah, that's the place I am at almost every single day of my life. Yeah.
Yeah, so both of you have very different stories, actually. It's really interesting. Yeah, so I just want to ask, since both of you mentioned that you both started serving at an early age, and Pastor Ian, you mentioned that you had to serve in everything. You had to be there almost every day of the week.
All services, all.
So maybe you can share a little bit more about like what you served in, and then maybe like how was your journey in serving actually? Like, was there a point of time where you felt like I'm only serving because I have to? Was there a point where it shifted from being a duty to being something more, or was it has it always been something more to you?
I think when I was younger, I think my first serving is drums. Okay, so I learned drum at about 11, 12, but I didn't learn outside. I learned in the church, free ma. So our church drummers taught me, and then I learned. And I think I first started serving at the age of 12 as a drummer in our children's church. And within that year, I went to the adult church and served as well. So, and of course, from there on, it branched out to other things like song leading and youth leader and everything else, to serve and so on. So, that's how but then I think at a younger age, at first it was exciting, learning drums, everything's new. When you first started as a worship leader, it was really exciting, everything is new. But I guess when give it a year or two, things will just start to get dull and take things for granted, and I played. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I can play drum halfway and I fell asleep. That's how bad it is.
How
And
you
then
fall asleep?
I don't know how, but it is a memory that I have that our keyboardists have to throw tissue at me to wake me up. It's like, psst, psst, psst. I mean, no IEM, so she has to like, psst, psst. And that time because our church is still small, so we only have two musicians, keyboardists and one drummer. And I'm there. So halfway I can fall asleep, That's how bad it is. So if you ask me, is it duty? Definitely, it felt like duty. And like I say, not able to skip church at all. Not able to go into my friends' birthday party and all. So it all added to that part where it just gets tiring and meaningless. And I'm just serving out of duty. So there were times like that, And I also remember I messed up quite a few worship sessions as a worship leader because I don't take things seriously. One part of it is ego as well, I remember my first time worship leading. Thank God, it was actually a very good worship, good experience. But because of that, I took things for granted. I said, I'm good enough. I can do it. Our worship team is good enough. So there are experiences like that. But when did it turn into serious? I think is when I grew older, much older, when, I remembered my calling. Long story short, there's a history behind all this, but long story short, it was this specific car accident that I have that, changed my life. And I remembered my calling, and I told my parents that, I want to go into BCM. That was around my college years. So that's where I say that, that's where everything starts to be meaningful again, because I remembered my calling. So I think that's the thing.
Wow.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think mine would be, I started serving when I was 15. So I started off doing icebreakers basically, and then from icebreakers started doing events in the youth ministry. And then from there, I kind of took on the coordinating role as well for the youth ministry. And then of course in the main church setting, it was more like you had to do everything. So I started serving in grounds, traffic as well. So back then, I remember growing up, our church used to do musicals. I started off doing traffic, grounds, and then eventually I went to be supporting cast. And then over the years, I played a lead role in one of the musicals.
Wow.
So it was like a progression, basically.
Yeah. So it's like one step at a time.
Yeah, but I think it was good because it's because when you start really at the ground level, I think that really strengthens your foundation. You really know the essence of like why you serve kind of thing, and the whole principle of servanthood. Yeah, so that was a little bit of my journey, how I serve. But I must say that it comes a point sometimes, when you serve and it becomes a bit like an obligation and like a duty.
Yep.
I think it only really hit me that like it's a privilege is when one of my mentors, his name is Derek, he's my senior pastor's son. I've seen how he would just pour into the lives of the young people, and he does it like for almost everyone that he can. And he goes above and beyond. And I was thinking to myself, he doesn't need to do it, but yet he chooses to do it. And so I was really inspired by that. And so because of that, I had a paradigm shift. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, you know what? I want to aspire to be that. I want to pour into the lives of people without expecting anything in return. And hopefully I could make an impact in their lives. So I think that was like a turning point for me. Yeah, that I just caught the heart of the ministry. Yeah.
Pastor Jian can sing very well.
No,
I went to
he
one of
sings
the
as well.
musicals.
The songs.
I was so shocked he can sing so well.
You didn't know that you could sing?
In BCM, he did lead the song "What a Beautiful Name" all the time. That's his favorite song in
Like,
this
in,
year.
like, in the
But
rooms, he never
yeah.
sing
Nah,
like
not
casually.
not really.
But during that time when I went to one of the musical, I saw him on stage. I was laughing at him, but when he sang, I was like, "Oh, okay, my bro knows how to sing, not bad."
Okay.
If I had known this earlier, we could have introduced a short segment to let both
Nah,
of you to sing
it's
together.
It's all good. It's all
But,
good.
oh well. Well, thank you for sharing. So I also want to ask, because both of you are pastors right now, right? Pastor Ian, you mentioned just now that you've always wanted to be a pastor. So there was no point in time where you had a bit of you were swayed a little bit to be like, oh, maybe I want to be that as well. Maybe I want to be a firefighter. Maybe I want to be a policeman. Was it always all along you wanted to be a pastor?
Yeah, I think, since young I wanted to be a pastor, and I've always wanted to be a pastor. But the swing part is not like I want to choose a different career kind. But I think the swing part is like when I was younger, that I got into bad habits. I think I shared my testimony in Kajang Youth before, So that period of time, I think about 13 to 20-ish like that. So that was like the dark moment of my life where even though I'm in the church, but I'm not in the church. That's where everything gets duty, it feels like a duty. And but that is the time where I didn't get swayed, but I didn't want to go to another career, but I get swayed because I forgot about my calling. Like I don't care about it anymore. I just wanted to live my life. YOLO, you only live once, that kind of feeling. I want to live it to the fullest. I get into every kind of things that I can get into, with my non-Christian friends, and so on. So I got swayed because I think I forgot about my calling. I just want to live my life. Growing up as a pastor kid, like I said, I cannot skip church. So I never been exposed to anything. So that curiosity and that the freedom thingy that I wanted, so that's where I got swayed lah. So that period of time, I don't really remember my calling. I don't even think that I'm a Christian actually. I'm just a shell in the church, serving really like a robot, just serve so I can sleep in the middle of playing the drums. That's how bad it is. So that's my low moments.
I think he was praying for people when he fell asleep.
I think I was almost slain by the Spirit.
I actually have heard that comment before from someone when they fell asleep, and when you called them out when I called them out, and then they were like, "Oh, I was praying." Oh no, he said he was crying. He said he was crying or something like that. Yeah.
But the times
so someone actually used that with me before, and I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, when they sleep, but when it's time to clap, they wake up. Amen, amen.
I guess for me, I wanted to be a doctor at one point. I wanted to be a chef at one point. I wanted to be a lawyer at one point. But somehow I ended up pursuing a degree in mass communication, majoring in public relations. And so, it's been quite a ride altogether. I never really wanted to be a pastor, to be honest. Never saw myself in that light. All I ever felt was that I wanted to do something more for the church. And it was when I was working in a PR firm. I was doing my intern in Bandar Utama. And I was actually doing quite well. I was even offered a position to continue working upon graduation. But then during that whole 4 months of working, I just felt that constant tugging and nudging in my heart to just want to do more for the youth ministry in church. And so that tugging was actually quite constant until I felt that maybe I should have a conversation with my pastor. But again, just to clarify, I now really wanted to be a pastor. So I said, you know what, let me just have a conversation and see how it goes. So I basically went to see my pastor, and then they said, oh, actually, we've been waiting for you to come in for some time now. And so I said, explain to me, what it means. And then they said, oh, actually, our late pastor, Pastor Sally, before she passed away, she actually spotted that full-time calling in me. But she didn't want to tell me because she said that if we told him back then, he would have, maybe probably chicken out or something. And looking back on hindsight, I think that was a really wise move. So that was that. And then I had a word with my youth pastor as well back then. And then they said that, actually, we do see that calling in you. So it wasn't like a, like a loud, audible voice or, like a whisper in the wind kind of thing. But it was just basically that constant tugging and then affirmation and confirmation from the leaders over you. So that was how I eventually got into full-time ministry. And then along the way, kind of felt that, yeah, I think I'm called to pastor, to shepherd and all that. Yeah.
Before I ask the next serious question, I'm just really curious, Pastor Ian. I'm sure in school you have been asked what do you want to be when you grow up. So how do you explain being a pastor, wanting to be a pastor, especially in Malaysia?
Yeah, I think in secondary school, I studied in Cyberjaya, SMK Cyberjaya. So my whole school, there's only 3 Chinese when I was Form 2. Others, 90% are Malays, and then a few more percent of mixed Indians and others lah. So, but of course, at Form 3, Form 4, more Chinese came in lah. But nevertheless, so I grew up there. So my friends do ask. But then I think it's actually easier to explain to Malays because I would just say it's something like Ustad and Ustazah. Similar, very similar. So I just said, oh, my parents are like religious leaders lah, pastors. And they are like your Ustad and Ustazah, So that's how I explain to them, But to my Chinese friend, I will always use the more traditional way. I say 神父, priest. But then always I get the question, priest can get married one, can have children one.
They always question why would you want to do something like that.
But then like I say, during that time is my low moments. So I didn't really tell them that I want to be a pastor. In fact, I'm like quite hypocrite lah. They know I'm pastor kid, they know I'm pastor, but I do all those, bad words, smoking, all the bad habits, So it was quite sad, that I didn't leave a good testimony during that time. But they don't really ask me like why I want to be a pastor because I never told them, So yeah lah, that's the case. But they are interested like my parents, like, oh, your parents are pastors, what they do, do they get money, and then how does the church, what they do in the church, those kind of questions lah. Yeah.
All right, okay. So, Hustian, you mentioned just now that you were called when you were 13.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be a pastor, but I got my calling specifically at the age of 13.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, so like I said, I was in a pastor kids camp, and I think that year our AG minister retreat, they managed to invite Youth for Life Malaysia, Australia to come. So there's a team that came. So that team came, so they had a session with us, service. And after at the end, they have altar call, praying and so on. So there's this, I remember he's also a pastor kid. So he came and he prayed for me. And I remember that calling is very specific. He's telling me that, do you know that you have a calling, and to be a pastor and so on and so on. Then he said, do you know why? Because I'm more big size, I'm tall. So he's telling me, do you know why are you this tall and big size? It's so that, right, when you stand, people can see you. Wow. So you have that calling. I was like, wow, this is one way of calling me, but okay, I take it lah, So I went back and told my mom, So that's how I got my calling, specifically through a prayer by other people, not through my parents and so on. I think my parents knew, but they don't want to, like maybe like Pastor Sally, don't want to be that person who not say impose, but to let me know, oh, my parents say okay, something like that. So they also kind of like waited. Until like these other pastors came and prayed for me and to confirm my calling. So that's how I got it.
Were there any doubts about this calling that you got from God? Were there any questions like, oh, is this really from God? Or how do I know it's from God? Were there questions or were there doubts like this?
To be very honest, for my part, not much. Because I wanted to be a pastor. So when I received, I was like, woohoo! But then...
This confirmation, thank you, God.
Yeah, really. But life didn't go as I expect it to, because when I received that calling, I was thinking that, wow, my life should be different, right? You got calling already, So I was thinking, I must do something good, read the Bible more, so on, holy and so on. But after I received my calling, right, that's when my life went spiral down. That's where my life just went into really, like all the bad habits. And then I think the main thing is because I got to know some bad friends. It's really real, like what parents say, be careful with friends. Yeah. That's what happened to me. I got into this group of friends that's non-Christians, not so good, so my life just went spiral down. But then I think maybe this question can ask Jian better, the doubt part. Don't know whether you have or not.
I actually didn't really have a lot of doubt also, because I think at the point when I felt that constant tugging, for me, I just wanted to go all in. I didn't even bother about thinking about finance. And one of the things that I kept on saying was that, money is not an issue. Let's not worry about it. I'm just going to go straight in. So that was like a leap of faith that I took. Yeah. And I'm that type that is usually quite practical. I make calculations before making decisions. I will figure it out in my head. Okay, I think this one is feasible. But this was that one time that I really just took a leap of faith and I said, I'm going to go full time. But I don't quite know what the future holds. But God, you hold my future. So I'm going to trust you. So doubt, not so. But I think the journey is that along the way, the doubts will creep in. The clouds of uncertainty comes. And then, that's when you really feel that's the true acid test. Yeah.
So the decision to step into ministry was not actually really a big thing not a big doubt for the both of you. Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah.
Not for me, but it is actually for my mom though.
Oh.
Because my mom, I think she, as a pastor herself, she understood or she knew all the, the challenges and all the hardships, So actually, I think she shared this with me before, like when I told her that, I think at the age of 8, I really remember all the ages. So at the age of like about 18 like that, I told her that, about 20-ish, after I finished my college. So I told her I want to enter, but she said maybe wait. She actually wanted me to go out work first.
That's actually the same thing that my parents wanted me to do. Go out, get experience.
Because I was offered a job as well. So I was also studying mass comm. So I was working in an events company. So after my intern, they already offered me to work there, So my boss asked me, whether I want to work. So at that point, it's a decision.
Before BCM.
Oh, before BCM.
Before BCM, okay.
After my bachelor in mass comm study.
Okay.
Yeah. So my boss offered me lah. So my mom also knew that my boss offered me. So that's why she's asking that, maybe delay a bit, maybe work first 2 years, But then the amazing thing is that, I'm not the one who needs to convince her, but instead it's God who convinced her. Again, back to the minister retreat. That year there was this speaker for the adults, for the pastors, and I think he specifically said this: "No, your children are not yours; they belong to God." Suddenly, this kind of sharing, So my mom heard that, as like, okay, God, I got the cue, I got the signal.
Like, okay.
Yeah, okay. So that I still remember during lunch, I say, okay lah, I know already lah, you just go be sian lah. I can't stop you already lah. Something like that. So it was that lah. The doubt is in my mom though, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. I think I could relate to that because you realize that as much as answering the call to full-time is your personal journey, but it's also a journey that your family undertakes as well. And then especially mothers, So because I grew up in a single parent household for most of my life. So when I broke the news to my mom that I want to go full-time, naturally you would expect, okay, and all that. They'll be quite supportive. But my mom went into this frenzy whereby she broke down, she cried for weeks, sleepless nights for months and all that. And I remember sitting her down, assuring her that, money is not an issue. God will provide. We will figure this out together. But I think the wrestle is real because to my mom, her dream for me was that, you will succeed in life, do well in corporate, yet at the same time, you are very actively serving in church week in, week out. And then she said, I kind of envision you being like a board member or something. But then, there's a bit of like a pivoting, and I said, I want to go full-time ministry. And so I think in her head, it's like, I think he's going to be a pastor. But that was not what's going through my head. I just wanted to serve. So I think she was just...
What went through her head was true.
And it was like... she was thinking what's going to happen to my son and all that. But later on, when I had a conversation with my mom, she said, actually, I kind of saw it coming. So I think somehow God has already prompted her. So I think it has been a journey for our parents as well.
I think it's natural because parents, they just want us to have the best. And they want us to... succeed. It's not that become pastors not successful or what, but things are real.
In the eyes of the world.
But things can get real because, as pastors, there will be challenges and hardship. Finance is definitely one of them. So, but I think they see it coming and they just don't want us to suffer, I think. But nevertheless, thank God both of us managed to make it.
And I would say if you are considering to go full-time ministry, include your parents in the decision making. Understand that it's not just your journey, but it's also your parents' journey as well. And it's nothing like, doing it right, speaking to them, letting know, the burden that God has placed in your heart. I think that will put you off on the right path. Yeah, on the onset.
I think along those lines, I also wanted to ask, I think Pastor Ian maybe not so much, but like maybe Pastor Jian, like what were just now you mentioned your mom's reaction to you deciding to go into full-time.
Yep.
How about like your friends or any other family members? How did they react?
Okay, so I have a few groups of friends. So a little bit similar to Pastor Ian's story. My school friends were probably shocked because I also had a past where, wasn't a very good testimony, foul languages and skipping classes and all that. It started since high school days. So I think they were quite shocked that I was going to go be a pastor. But at the same time, I don't think so they were too surprised either. Simply because the weekends, whenever they are going out, I would say that I will be in church, needing to serve in youth ministry. So that was that. Then, of course, church friends are just very supportive.
Yeah.
They're very proud of you. My brother, on the other hand, he was really, really supportive of my decision to go full-time. And so I think that was a plus. And, you have him at the side talking to my mom and say, just trust God and all that. Yeah, so I think that helps
So
a lot.
double attack.
Yes, double attack. And it works most of the time.
Yeah. That's good.
So for Pastor Ian, there's not a lot of
I think not a lot for me because my parents are pastors.
yeah.
And
So
they
it's kind of
know, my
expected.
friends I think they didn't expect it to be pastors, but it's not like something very new to
Yeah,
them,
it's just something
especially
that-
non-Christian.
That's
Because
shocking.
yeah, because they already know my parents are pastors, so they sometimes ask me questions about pastors and so on. So also maybe because they will think like, you're a pastor kid or pastor son, so you becoming a pastor is not a big thing lah. Like for continuing your parents' job, I guess for them. So yeah.
All right. So I think Pastor Jian, you mentioned just now that your mom was very concerned about you stepping into ministry, and she had that kind of what she always hoped for you was to work in corporate and be successful. And I think a lot of times when you work in full-time ministry, you would to a certain extent experience this kind of comparison where you think about okay, what if I had actually continued working in a corporate job and have had more stable and more successful or more rewarding careers?
Yep.
So is this something that you face, like be it from yourself or from other people around you? And if yes, how do you manage or how do you deal with this comparison that you have to face?
Yeah, so I think comparison is something that is really real. I think all of us at some point in our lives would compare ourselves whether to others and even your peers as well. So I did go through that phase where I look at my friends, they are buying houses, they're buying cars, and they're going on multiple holidays and then repeat it again. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, I wish I could do that.
Every year they go to one different place.
Yeah, it's like
or
one
more.
different place and and then maybe you do some local trips and all that. So I guess the comparison game is strong. But I remember one of the quotes that stuck with me all this while. It was from Craig Rochelle, pastor of Life Church. He said that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison either makes you feel inferior or superior, and neither of it honors God. And so it's something that I remind myself that I just need to stay my lane, focus on the call of God upon my life. And that's how I cope with, the comparison trap, I would say. Because comparison trap is like, you find yourself living in a prison, even though it's within the palace. And the way to have that prison break is like, just focus on what God has called you to do. Live for an audience of one and recognize that the call of God upon your life is very distinctive. And you just run the race and just be focused. I think there was another quote that goes along the lines of like, the grass is greener where you water it. So I think that's something that I try to remind myself. So just to focus on what God has called me to do as well. And I think the other thing is also because I thought about it. It's like, the grass is greener on the other side, but sometimes it's because of pesticide. Simply meaning,
Did you come up with that yourself?
yeah, sort of, and it's like
So smart.
you look at someone else's life and you feel like, okay, they have it all together, but you don't quite know what they have gone through, the struggles, the tension, the pressure, the sacrifices, and all that, and you feel like their life is a bed of roses, but hey, roses have thorns after all, right? So
and it's social media nowadays.
just because it's
see-
on highlight reel doesn't mean it's real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's to just tell yourself, hey, I don't think I'm doing that bad after all, and to just really stay my lane. Yeah.
How about you, Pastor Ian?
I think Pastor Jian said most of it already, because I think as pastors, especially at our age, I mean, we are not that old, ma. So I
You're
think at our
both very
age,
young.
because our age is where, our friends, our peers are really enjoying their life, like what he says, vacations and so on. And but for me personally, I got two things that actually keeps me going. One of the thing is being grateful. So being grateful means that, this ministry or this calling is from God. And like what Jen says, you compare, it brings you nowhere, but it brings harm only. So instead of comparing, but that's why I always say, why you compare yourself to someone who is like maybe richer or better? Why don't you compare yourself with someone poorer? Why don't you compare yourself with someone more unfortunate? So for me, I don't compare, but my main thing is to be grateful for whatever that I have and whatever that God has given me. Even though I don't get to go vacation all over the world, but I still go all over for ministry, what? So, okay, what? Not bad, what? So for me, I'm grateful for this kind of opportunity to serve and to go to different places, even though it's for God, but it's still an experience. And secondly, it's my family. I really thank God, especially my wife and my two daughters. I think they are the ones that keeps me going. I'm really grateful for my wife. Because my wife always remind me, because as a man, sometimes we will compare. Like, my friends, their pre-wedding photo should go London. But then for me, my pre-wedding photo shoot in Putrajaya. So I actually felt it, but of course I didn't really share this out loud. But my wife immediately knew, and she came to me and she said, "Hey, don't compare." She'll tell me that I don't want all this. I'm grateful for who you are. I'm grateful for this family. I'm happy. I don't want all this. So my family, my wife and my family is the one that really keeps me going and always assuring me and affirming me that, it's okay. We don't need all those. We just serve God faithfully, So these two things, gratefulness and my supportive family. So I think that's what keeps me going, when it comes to this part.
I think you mentioned about gratefulness, and I think it's really something that is very important, because when I work in the community as well, right, and I see that a lot of people actually don't have the things that I have, and they are actually struggling so much more than I am, and I actually have a lot more than what they have, and it's really a cause to be grateful instead of comparing myself with other people who have more than me. So So along the lines of challenges, it's not easy, I'm sure, to be serving full-time ministry. What are the biggest challenges that you have faced throughout your journey of serving, especially at such a young age as well? He's thinking.
Yeah, he's deep in thought.
Reminiscing.
I'm deep in thoughts.
So I guess I'll go first. I would say expectations. Whether you like it or not, in the area of leadership, there will be a certain degree of expectation that is set on you. It's different when you volunteer in church, and it's a different story when you are employed by the church. Whether you like it or not, to a certain degree, there is a certain expectation on you. And the contrast between both, sometimes it can be incrementally increasing, or sometimes it's just a gradual increase as well. So I kind of experienced that firsthand as well. I feel the weight on my shoulder, I feel the tension, I feel the pressure. But I just want to encourage everyone out there as well. Yes, there is a weight, there is the pressure, but at the same time, you have to recognize that there is a grace of God that God gives to you. Amen. That will enable you to pull through all of that as well. So I think it's the expectation. And I would also say the other struggle is that it's very different when you are in the classroom and when you're on the field itself. Like when we were studying in Bible school, right? It's like
honeymoon.
In a classroom, you obtain a Bachelor of Theology for me, and as for Pastor Ian, Masters of Ministry. But when you're on the field, you realize that having just a Bachelor of Theology, Masters of Ministry is actually not enough. You actually need a heart for theology. You need a heart for ministry. And it's two distinctive, different things altogether. So I guess when you are really there, you just kind of realize that, it's really, really different. I'll just very quickly share, when I graduated from Bible school in 2016, December, And when 2017 came, naturally you feel like, okay, I've graduated, I'm all on fire right now, I'm going to be firing on all cylinders, hit the ground running. But when the rubber meets the road, that's when you actually realize that you don't know it all. I was telling myself, I was like kind of grumbling and whining away, and I was saying something like, you know what, I was a student council president, I had the BCM faculty award, like, it's like you were the role model for the school, quote unquote, which I think all of them were laughing because like, how did you get role model by skipping class? So anyway,
How did you get role model by
I'm
skipping
not sure
class?
as well, yeah. So anyway, those were the narratives behind my head, thinking like, hey, I've been through all this, how is it that I'm struggling right now when coming out to the field? And then it really just dawned upon me that it's different.
Yeah.
You really got to apply it. And
Application is always super hard.
it's just different, right?
Yep.
It's just different.
Yep.
And you just have to really just take time to adjust to the demands of
Yeah.
ministry, and to just remind myself, you don't win when you whine, but you actually obtain clarity when you have conversations with people. And so I've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by a group of wise counsels to speak into my life. And it is through their wise counsel that I got through this stage. And then I realized that, hey, I think now I'm starting to integrate well. Yeah. So I think that's a bit for me as well. Yeah.
I think one of the main thing is God being the center of it all. Because I mean, not in a very shallow saying like God is the middle, but it's really putting God in the middle of it all and just focusing on God. Because in BCM, we had so many good experiences and memories with each other. So I heard lecturer telling us that this is honeymoon stage, which I was thinking like, wow, give me so much assignment, why got honeymoon, something like that, But then when we really graduated and went to the ministry, wow, then we realized really it's a honeymoon time in BCM. So when we went back to ministry, or rather after we graduated, we went into ministry, things just get real, because now you're a pastor. I mean, growing up in the church, serving in the church, you don't have that pastor thing. So the expectation is not that much. But when you have that pastor title on you, everything just changes. Everyone will kind of like look up to you. But not to say like admire you, but to see what you are doing. Whether you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong. And people will start to look and so on. So that's the kind of expectation. But for me, I think the biggest challenge is people. Now, of course, everyone knows when there's people, there'll always be challenged. But what I'm trying to say is this, because sometimes as pastors or as ministers, we need to have a heart for people, right? You are serving them, you are serving the people of God, or you are bringing people back to God. So this is the main ministry, is people. So as pastors, especially for me personally, I'm the more sentimental kind, or I'm the really into relationships kind. So I always tell my youth, I treat them like my own brothers and sisters, like real younger brothers and sisters, or my younger ones, I call them like my son and daughters and so on. So I'm really into that. But the thing is, the challenge is the time when they stray away. Or the time when they did something not right, and so on. And it really can just cause me to go into this spiral of like negativeness. I will think of all the what if they left the church? What if they and some of them really left the church. So I have many sleepless nights thinking about the young people especially.
And because you also are playing a role in their life as well.
I mean, it's something like a parent's kind of feeling, So that I can ask my wife many sleepless nights. I can think of just like if I heard of anything that they do or that's not right, or rather, let's say they choose not to come to church, they go to club. Wow, I will be like in this, wow, what happened, everything, all the negative thoughts. And of course, when some of them actually left the church because of certain things, wow, that really caused me to go into this really low emotions and so on, very sad and so on. So that is the biggest challenge for me, But then eventually we have to go back to the point where God is the center of it all, where we have to understand they belong to God, not to me. We are just God's tool or servant to serve. Of course, we need to shepherd them, love them, but eventually we have to understand that we all belong to God. So certain things that happen, it is not really that we can control or what, and we are not their parents, so we cannot like do a lot, but we can just be there for them. So this is something that I have learned. Biggest challenge, but I have to learn also to let God take control and let God be the center of it all. Sometimes when I realize that when I spiral too much into this, right, I feel like I am the center of it all. Like they all belong to me, that kind of feeling. But
So
that's
it's like
not
a
right.
self-victimizing, like, oh, why is this going on?
Yeah,
Why,
and then
why
very
can't they?
negative, and but that's not the right thing to do. So my biggest challenge is this. So, but I thank God over the years, slowly and starting to learn how to let go and let God. So that's the thing.
Right. So through all these challenges, right, what encourages you to keep running the race? And I think Pastor Ian, you mentioned just now that your family is really one thing that keeps you going.
Yeah.
And who is your support system throughout all these years of serving?
Yeah. I think for me, definitely my family is my main support system lah. So my wife but when you say what keeps me going, this is a more recent one. Of course, over the time, right, God is very faithful. God will always give you new insights and new thoughts, or you have experiences with your youth or your church that say that gives you like this encouragement or motivation to move on. But this is the more recent one. I associate with my youth. Working with the youth, I'm actually raising up the next generation of leaders for my daughters. So if the youth that I'm raising up today, they grow up to be good leaders or good Christians, when my daughter grow up, they are gonna be the leaders of my daughter. So when I think about that, it just like, oh, so what I'm doing right now, is also for my daughters, So I mean, I was like, wow, okay, I must do this. I have to do this. It's
I can't leave bad leaders for my daughter.
Of course. Aside of this, God is still the main thing. I'm not there. But then when it comes to this, I just recently had this motivation that this generation that I'm raising up, eventually my daughter will grow up and they will be the leader for my daughter. So that's one of my main motivation now. Yeah, that's all.
What about you, Pastor Jian?
Yeah, I think I just want to commend Pastor Ian. I think that's some foresight right there that he's able to see.
Long-term
planning.
planning.
I think that's really good. I think that's why Scripture talks about how like one generation will commend, and pass on mighty works of God from one generation to another. I think I resonate with that as well. It's recognizing that what you do for a particular person, actually it will impact their lives for the long run, and it could be generations as well. I resonate with that. I think one of the things that really keeps me going in ministry is to go back to the God moments in my life, where God has been just so real to me, and I just know that He is there, He is God, and that He's going to take care of everything, even if things don't quite fall into place. So I could remember very clearly November 11, 2023, 6:40 p.m. That was actually a very life-defining week for me. It was like a God moment for me. So in my ministry, because I am going through a season of transition in church, and that was that particular weekend that I was told that I was selected to be the senior pastor designate. And so I kind of said a silent prayer in my heart saying that, God, thank you so much for this privilege and opportunity. But God, I just want an assurance from you. If you were to just let me see a rainbow over this weekend in the next 3 days, that would just really assure me. So I said the silent prayer. And what happened was that Friday went past, nothing happened. Saturday came by, nothing quite happened. So at 5-something that Saturday, 11 November, I told my wife, I said, hey, I actually said this prayer to God, like, God, just give me a sign so that I can keep on going in ministry. And then she said, you just need to have faith. It's just Saturday evening. There is still the rest of the evening, and there is still Sunday. And I kind of said, you know what, I think she's just being a good wife, encouraging me kind of thing. And I was like, nah, probably not going to happen because I've not seen a rainbow for a very long time. Cut a long story short, we had to make a trip to my auntie's place to just water her plants because she's away. And as we were just driving out, she fell asleep, my wife, Felicia. And I just woke her up and I said, just like double rainbow. And I just whip out the phone and I just took a photo of it. And then tears just began to roll down my cheeks. And I said, you know what, that's like a God moment. And to be assured that even in your silent prayers, in your wrestling through your emotions, God hears you. And so I run back to that and say, no matter how challenging circumstances may be, I run back to that God moment. And so that keeps me going and just reminds me to stay on my lane, keep my eyes on the prize, which is God Himself, and to just continue shepherding and pastoring. Yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Yep.
Those were really good insights. I think I really appreciated it. So before we end today, could I ask both of you to perhaps give some words of encouragement to two groups of people? So the first group would be those who are struggling to make that decision or that leap of faith into serving in ministry, be it part-time or full-time ministry. And the second group of people is those who are currently serving in ministry, again, be it part-time or full-time, and are going through discouraging or very challenging times. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll let the encourager go first.
Okay. So I think for those who are going to be, I think when you hear me sharing, I'm saying that, I wanted to be in it, so that's true. But when I am really in the ministry, now I can be very honest with you is that it's going to be very challenging. It's going to be very heart-wrenching and all these moments, But I guess, just remember that God is faithful. I think knowledge about God is so important if you want to go into ministry. And that's why, just if you want to go into full-time or you want to go into to be a pastor, for me, go for it. Because one of my life-changing moments is actually BCM. Learning about God there really changed my life. And now I have a very clear image or clear understanding of who God is. And it's not just the kind of like, God is faithful, So for me, my encouragement is this, go for it. And by the way, going to BCM doesn't mean that you must be a pastor, right? Just go in first, don't doubt, just go for it.
Just do it.
Just do it, when you go in, who knows, God might call you into another kind of ministry, but you need to equip yourself, so why not just go in and do it? And for those who are like having this you are discouraged, during your ministry, I just want to encourage you and to just tell you that, you are not alone. Yeah, this is a very classic saying, but it's true. You're not alone. I believe, all ministers, all full-time workers have their own challenges and their own circumstances. But, again, I just want to go back to the point where let God be the center of it all. Focus on God more. Sometimes we can be blinded by our challenges, but you know what? Focus on God. Let God be the center of your life. And you will see His promises and His faithfulness is real for you. Yeah. So keep the great job up. Keep it up. Don't give up.
Yeah. So I guess for those of you, if you are considering to go full-time ministry, first and foremost, I would say that pray about it. Talk to your pastors, your leaders, seek wise counsel. And if you are considering about it, one of the things that you really need to do is to really speak to people around you who can speak into your life. Maybe just get some guidance. And I think along the way, they could help you understand what you need to do as well. Ministry is not a bed of roses. There will be challenges. And that means you really have to prepare yourself to step into full-time ministry. Now, you don't need to have all the answers figured out.
Yes.
But because it's a journey of faith, and so along the way, you will find yourself, just growing in your faith. And along the way, you will also see your faith increasing over time as well. So go easy on yourself. Don't expect yourself to hit the ground running and like, I want to be so and so. But just take it one step at a time. And just know that, your yes today could echo through the rest of eternity. Your yes today could lead to many more yeses in times to come. So just recognize that God can do so much through your one yes to answer the call to full-time ministry.
Amen.
But to those of you outside as well, young people, if you feel like, maybe I don't have a call to full-time ministry, I just want you to know that the call to full-time ministry is not so much like, I am higher than you and whatnot.
Yep.
I think that God calls us to different places in life.
Yeah.
God calls some of us to full-time ministry. He calls some of us to marketplace ministry. And there is no higher or lower. Both of it are sacred. Both of it honors God. And so maybe the Lord calls you to a marketplace ministry as well. Then bloom where you're planted and just do what God has called you to do. And those of you who are discouraged as well, I would say that really discouragement is part and parcel of our journey of faith. In the context of life, leadership, and ministry, you will always have that. And you're going to find yourself in a winter of discouragement and you feel like you just want to give up. It's in times like this you turn to friends, friends who have been there, done that, and just to have armor bearers in your life, and they could just really help you through a particular season. When you realize that you're not alone in this, sometimes it gives you the feel to take the next step as well. I would say that's one. The second thing is to really recognize that, hey, no matter how discouraged you are, just trust God to really come through for you. One of the quotes that I always live by and I always remember is by Louis Giglio, and he said something like, "Do not forget in the fog what you have seen on a clear day." That means the storm will eventually pass and the same will awaits you. So you just need to hang in there and know that God will come through for you. But I must say that along the way in ministry, you must be comfortable in your own shape as a leader. If you are not comfortable and you just feel insecure all the time, discouragement is just going to hit you more often than not. And I think it's just so important for us to be comfortable in who we are as a leader, as a person, as a child in Christ. Why do I say that? Simply because if you take a look at the story of David in the Bible, he went down to fight Goliath. He didn't want to wear King Saul's armor. He just wanted to go and be who he is. And so I think it's so important that we are comfortable in who we are. We know our shape. We know who we are. And then that's when you realize that you will actually take flight in ministry or even in leadership as well. So continue to run the race. Cling on to the call of God upon your life. There's a distinctive call of God upon you. And when you answer that call by faith, you're going to do great exploits for Him.
Wow.
And to add on a little bit to that is that this just came to me. So don't let your discouragement draw you away from God, but instead let it draw you closer to God. Because it's always at these moments where you realize that you really need God. You can't do it yourself. If you do it yourself, definitely you can't do it. But because of God, we all, can do it together, So that's why don't let your discouragement draw you away from God, but instead allow it to draw you to God, closer to God. I think that's also very important, to add on to that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think speaking from, because I'm also serving in full-time ministry, so I think both of you really has, what you shared is very encouraging and very inspiring. And I hope those of you at home who are listening to this, thank you for tuning in. I hope you are as equally or even more encouraged and inspired as I am. But thank you once again to both of you, Pastor Ian and Pastor Jian, and also thank you, viewers, faithful viewers at home who have been tuning in to our podcast. This is the end of episode 6. Stay tuned for our next episode next month. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.